सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः. Now let us look at the verse here. 69. Very important verse, verse number 69. Towards the close of the second chapter, we have this verse which is cryptic to say at best, difficult to understand because it is just makes a statement leaving us in our wake to decide what it's trying to say, because it does not clearly say this is the meaning or this is a metaphor for this. It just simply gives the metaphor and goes away. It does not really specify at all what this is all about. So Adi Shankara takes the time to do a lot of commentary, and so there's a very big commentary that we will see in time. But first let us chant the verse and see its meaning. Ya nisha sarva bhutanam tasyam jagarti samyami. Ya nisha sarva bhutanam tasyam jagarti samyami. Yasyam jagrati bhutani sa nisha pashyato munehe. Yasyam jagrati bhutani sa nisha pashyato munehe. Simply it says, Ya nisha, that which is night for what? Sarva bhutanam, for all the beings in the whole world, that which is ratristhaniya, that which is standing in for the night, whatever that night means, we will have to see. So that which is night for all the beings, ya nisha, sarva bhutanam, for all beings, tasyam, in that night, tasyam feminine, in that night, tasyam nishayam, in that night, jagarti. Jagarti, even though it sounds like plural, second conjugation, it is singular. Jagarti sanyami. Sanyami means yogi. Sanyama. Some plus yama. Some means what? Some means, in English, some means a few. But here, S-O-M-E, some. But here, some means very well. Well done, samyak. So, samyami means the one who is a yami. Yami is here means yamin, the one who has yama. What is yama? Yama, niyama, like that we have disciplines. So the one who has led a disciplined life, yogi ityarthaha, the one who is a yogi. And here to this we also have to add the one who is a jnani. So the yogi, the jnani, the one with a very disciplined, measured life. And here the secondary means for the knowledge. The primary means, of course, being Shravanam. When in doubt, listen to the Shastra. That is the that is the main way to remove Atma Ajnanam, self-ignorance. Listen to the Shastra. That is the idea. And then that's the primary means. But the lifestyle that is recommended for the listening to be effective is one of discipline. What kind of discipline? Moderation in consumption. So it's not always whatever you want, you just go get and eat, drink, and whatever, because you say, what does that have to do with knowledge? Knowledge means I have to listen. But the rest of the time, when I'm not listening, it's all my time and I can do as I like. That is not how the knowledge takes place. The knowledge takes place only in a heart that is prepared for this knowledge. And without some kind of discipline, both secular and religious, or whatever it is, religious need not be religious. Religious can also mean some kind of a discipline that many other people are together following with you. That is, that is important, because you are not alone, just sort of making it up, flying by the seat of one's pants. It's not like that, making up whatever you feel like. No, it is something that is recommended, tried, tested for thousands of years, and this kind of a lifestyle is working for what? It's working to ready the heart for self knowledge. So, a lifestyle of quietude where the emphasis is on bringing tranquility to the mind. So, the mind has to be tranquil. In a mind that is full of quills, porcupine quill kind of thoughts of I have to do this, I have to get that, and it's all prickly and irritated and annoyed, there is no room for the knowledge to come in. In fact, it doesn't need to come in, it's already there. It is in the thick forest of that knowledge is hidden. Ishvara, the knowledge that one is Ishvara, is hidden in the thick forest of pressures due to severe prejudices, preferences, raga, dvesha, etc. And so samyami means the one who has lived and who continues to live a measured lifestyle, a lifestyle of tyaga. Tyaga means renunciation. That is how yama comes. Yama here, not Lord of Death, but we are talking of a life of discipline. Discipline cannot come without giving up something. You give up certain things. And how do you know what to give up? That this is an important question. You give up those desires that are difficult to accomplish in the beginning. So, in the beginning, those things that seem like a huge waste of time, why? Because you're trying, and nothing is happening, that is given up. That is given up. Like, why bother? Okay, I want to eat this particular dish which is only available in this particular restaurant, which is 10-15 miles away. And then what? It is raining. And the car is also not that great and not that roadworthy. Or I don't have a car, so I have to find out how to go there. Seems like a lot of work to get this to happen. And yes, the dish is sitting there in the restaurant and calling out to you, Yoo-hoo, come, I'm waiting for you. And that notwithstanding, still the person says, some other time, I can always go there anytime. I don't have to do that today. But I really want it today. Let's look at some easier alternatives. Perhaps I can make it at home. No, 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 it's too complicated. Okay, perhaps I can have something else. I don't have to have that particular thing right now. So I substitute, I make do, and this is what is said. This is how one starts on the pathway of yama, a life of discipline. So first, don't go with whatever is easy to fulfill, whatever sounds like very complicated thing. Yes, it sounds wonderful, and you like, let's say you're invited to go on a holiday, and some destination wedding of your friend. This is what is trending these days, destination weddings. The wedding also has to be at some exotic location, and then You have to go there, and all your friends, you go there to get married, and all your friends also come there, and that is that is how it is some supposed to be fun, because you're at the beach, you're in the mountains, you're in a forest, and you have spent some money and time to go there and be part of this wedding retinue. And then you find, as you're booking the tickets, it's complicated. First of all, it's a lot of money that you can otherwise save. And then you find there is no direct flight, so you have to do this, that, and finagle this, that here. And then you find that you cannot leave immediately and take so many days off. And just going for the wedding seems like a huge waste of money, because you won't even be staying there for all the sights and sounds to explore the place. At least if you're going to the destination, you should also be there for yourself and have some fun, and have some fun with the other guests and all, go see places. No, that's not possible. So it sounds very complicated. I'm not going to go. You make a decision. Oh, but I really like that place. Okay, I'll go another time. That's what you tell yourself. And so, in the beginning, things that are difficult to accomplish and are given up. Things that are met with obstacles at every step are given up. We take it as the will of Ishvara that this need not be done. This, of course, does not apply to Vedanta Shravanam, although sometimes it does apply, because there are too many difficulties right now. So I'll try again after some time. But generally, any kind of a strong desire which is met with resistance in the universe is first given up. For that, one has to have a relatively aware, full mind. One has to be mindful enough to see where is the resistance. Sometimes you don't even see that. You don't even see where is the resistance, because you bulldoze your way. You just run through it. You bulldoze your way to this destination, to wherever you want to go, to whatever you want to achieve. You just ride roughshod over all obstacles, and make it happen at all costs. Why? Because that is just the general tendency of people. But to fine tune the mind, to be able to look at where is the obstacle and where is it easy, it is not very hard. It just means slowing down enough. The mind is at some other pace. The buddhi, the intellectual faculty is somewhere else. The heart is somewhere entirely different. And so this disconnect is first handled by slowing down the mind, way, way, way down. And slowing down the mind means getting familiar with how fast it normally is, and how the mind is like a frog. It jumps from one thought to another thought to another thought to another thought. Nothing wrong. That's the job of the mind. But then you are the one deciding. You have to remember that. You are the one deciding. You are the one who is here deciding whether to pursue something or not. You are the one deciding. Whether to go after something or not, you are in charge of deciding. And so, unless you slow the mind down, unless you get familiar with the ways of the mind, this awareness does not come. The mind goes and drags you along with it, and bats you around from one desire to another, leading to sorrow, confusion, fear, and being mired in the mundane. That is why it is said here that this verse is like a wake up call. And what is this wake up call? The wake up call has to do with uh, being in the present. And so, what is the meaning of Sanyami? Sanyami means the one who knows the ways of her or his mind. And what does he do? What does she do? Slows the mind. First step to becoming a Sanyami, slow down the breathing, because the connection to the mind and the breath is very, very subtle, but it is there. When you slow down the breathing, the mind also slows down. The mind is a very good mimic, and it just mimics what the breathing does. So be mindful of the breathing first, watch the breath, watch the mind. Just watch. Don't go after the thoughts and don't shun the thoughts. Watch the mind. And then pay attention to the actions. The actions are also fast, 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 because somehow there is this collective disease of capitalism, or I don't know what, where you have to accomplish, you have to go do this, everything has to be done fast. You do something fast, and then what? And then you have to do something else equally fast. So then, after slowing down the thought, the breathing and the thoughts, then slow down the actions. You know you can run from here to the other room and grab something. Don't. Make the decision to walk slowly. Let the feet touch the floor, one after the other. Make that a walking meditation. Just from your whichever room you're in, study or living room, to the kitchen, make that a meditative walk. And you're making yourself a cup of tea, make that a meditative action. And what we say is that make it into a meditative action is a prayerful action worthy of being offered to Ishvara. Make that a prayerful action. Otherwise, if you rush, you spill, and then it takes twice as long to clean up. The hand goes here, goes there. There is no this thing. This itself becomes a prayer. How we lead our lives is that of Sanyama. This is all what is included in the discussion of what Sanyama is. Samyama. What is the rush? You have saved 1 minute at the cost of what? At the cost of being frazzled. You have saved half a minute. You have saved 1 minute at the cost of being a basket case. What's the use? What's the point? What have you achieved? It's one step forward and 10 steps backwards, really. So the Bhagavad Gita here is turning inwards. Lord Krishna's instruction is to be that person for whom all these kinds of activities, the rush, the competition, the rush, the dog eat dog attitude, and I have to do everything fast attitude, I have to get things done otherwise attitude, all that is just night for whom the sun has set over those attitudes, those values, and those actions stemming from those attitudes and values no longer serve me. That's why for the Samyami, all these kinds of rushing around for no purpose at all doesn't make any sense. The person doesn't even see that happening. And even if they see it, they unsee it immediately. They unsee it. Yes. And if you see, sages, saints in the tradition, certain things don't even register. I remember how Pujya Swamiji used to live. Did certain things that did not even register. He would just unsee them. He would not even see them. In our minds, unsee means after seeing, unseeing. But here, unsee means you don't see it at all. It's not that you see and then you have to unsee what you have seen. No, you don't see it at all. You just allow it to be. You don't see a thing. You don't see anything that doesn't have any meaning in your life. And as you proceed on this path of samyama, which is a preparation for internalizing this self knowledge, so the more and more things get dropped because the viveka is there. What I really want is not in all the places that I am searching in. That understanding is there. Vairagya is there. The things that are not going to lead me to this understanding of myself as limitless, as whole, are given up, naturally given up. Why should I need that? Why should I pursue that? Why should I go after that? That is already given up. And so this way, in the beginning, one drops things that are difficult. Okay? And then as one progresses, one starts to drop things that are even less difficult. Let's say the cup of coffee that you want is only not 5 miles away, it's only 5 minutes away by walk. That also you say, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if I don't have this particular cafe's coffee. I will survive. And then after that, even to make the coffee in your own home, you say, why? Why should I do this? What is achieved by this? And so this is a, don't get alarmed, okay? Some faces are looking a little alarmed. That's why I had to say, say that. So don't look alarmed. This is this is progress. This is slow progress. This is over this won't happen unless you're ready. Right now, you just focus on giving up things that are too difficult to accomplish. Give those up. Of course, with the exception of Shravanam, okay, with the exception of Vedanta Shastra, listening to Shastra, etc., and also meditation. Meditation is too difficult, I'll give it up. No, the 17th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita tells you, and the 18th too, what not to give up. Brushing teeth is too hard, and why should I do it? I should give it up. No, certain things, nitya karma, you don't give up. And swadharma, you don't give up. Swadharma means whatever your duties are in life, you don't give up. And then what else do you not give up? You don't give up also pursuing spiritual evolution, pursuing emotional maturity. Those things are not to be given up. Other things you can give up that are difficult to accomplish. Then afterwards, naturally the vairagya grows, because when you tell yourself, when you see that you are able to be without a few things in life, then you say, perhaps I can also be without a few other things. That is the thing. Perhaps you can be without a few other things. And then you extend this, this extends whatever was difficult to accomplish was given up. So naturally the vairagya is not only born, but it's nurtured. Whenever vairagya, the ability to let go, is nurtured, it just rewards you by giving you a certain freedom. It's just beautiful. It just rewards you. And so you start living more. You start living more by leaving more and more things. You start living more freely because the dependency is less. First, you were dependent on this particular dish from this particular restaurant. And then you just told yourself, I can be without it. I don't need it. I can have it. I have the freedom to go, but then I'm choosing not to go. And the dependency towards this particular dish goes. And when that dependency goes, it was a strong raga, that raga has gone, then it makes way for other ragas also to slowly go. And then you can expand your area of vairagya to even things that are easy to accomplish. But then you think about it and say, why? Why should I do this? It perhaps is not necessary. And so with everything in life, you have a relationship of, if I do this, it's okay, it's nice, it's enjoyable. If I do not do this, that's also okay. That's when you know which desire to fulfill. That's when you know it is not, quote unquote, a binding desire. It's not a binding desire, because fulfilled, it's okay, there is freedom. Not fulfilled, even better, no problem, moving on. This is what one tells oneself. So, those are the desires to fulfill which make you say, I'm okay either way. Either way, I am okay. But then you can't cheat here, okay? Yeah. You can't cheat and say, oh, I'll just tell myself I'm okay. So you have to be very, very intellectually honest here. And so, for this samyami, for this kind of a mature person who also has atmajnanam, everything is as night. In the night, we are not cats. We don't see very well in the dark. Bats, cats, all these things. Bats also don't have very good nocturnal vision. So certain animals, cats, etc., and other things that walk around in the night, they have extremely good night vision. We are not like that. What happens in the night? There are things that go bump in the night, meaning it's you colliding against something or the other, because you don't see. You are the thing that goes bump in the night, and you don't see. You just have to feel your way around, or better still, you sit in one place, don't move around. That's why after switching off the light, you go to bed. You don't say, okay, now I'm going to dance in the middle of the bedroom floor. Not a good idea. You just go to bed. You are stationary for the rest of the time. So that is what night is metaphorically stands for. It stands for very little activity in the night, and then it stands for not knowing anything that is going on. But at night, in the night that you are sleeping, many things are awake. Rats, mice, lizards, insects, all these things are awake. Creepy crawlies, bugs, all of them are awake. Why are they awake at night? Because Bhagavan has made it so that they can thrive when you are asleep. Because if you were awake, what would you do to them? You would make chutney out of them. You would give them instant moksha from this life. And so, therefore, Bhagavan wants you to be asleep when they are out and about. So, all the ants have a party, and all the insects say, they have a little concert, crickets, etc. They are all there, they are all nocturnal, because that is how they can live. Because otherwise they are too small and they'll be squashed by the people who are awake. That's why they are not awake when you are awake. In the night also are operational another kinds of beings called Naktancharaha, nocturnal beings. What are they? Don't say snakes. People. Some people are night people, work the graveyard shift, are night people, you can say. We are not talking of people who work the night shift. What are we talking about? We are talking about something entirely different. We are talking about the people who should not be awake at night. Who are they? They are robbers. People doing nefarious, adharmic activities. They are also called Naktancharaha, nocturnal people. They are awake when you are asleep. You are asleep to their ill conceived deeds. Someone's house is getting burgled. Someone's possessions are being taken away. Some other nefarious plan is being hatched by a few people. Definitely, all these people belong in jail. Such people are awake and roam freely at night. They are trying to, what are they trying to do? They are trying to either sell or buy addictive substances. Those are the people. But you are asleep. Do you see them? No. Are you interested in what they do? Not in the slightest. Do you want to encounter them? Absolutely not. Do you want to see how they live? Not in the least bit interested. Why? Because I'm asleep to that reality. What is a drug cartel? Nobody knows. Nobody knows unless one belongs to that. Such people know. Regular people do not know this, who are leading dharmic lives and going about their day, raising their families, and they are not knowing what a cartel is. And they don't know what is mafia. You don't know. How does it function? You don't know. How the darkness of night, the dark of the night, is used as a cover for all these activities. You don't know. And not only do you not know, you don't care to know, because that is not where your mind is. In fact, you abhor these activities. You don't want to be anywhere near them, and you don't want your children to be anywhere near such happenings. This is what is the meaning of night. A whole way of living happens at night, to which I am not awake, literally and figuratively. I don't care. I don't want that. In fact, I wish it did not existed. I know that the government in every country is doing its, you can say it's doing its best to remove this scourge. But even that is not successful. It is here to stay. This kind of a nightlife is here to stay. And it has been there for a long time. But I am not interested at all. Just like that. Just like you say that. And you are very clear that you don't want to have to do anything with this kind of a nocturnal life. A life of fear, anxiety, sorrow, and adharma. You don't want that because it goes contrary to your values. Similarly, for the person of knowledge, here known as the Samyami, what is happening? That same attitude is maintained towards what is the daytime for most beings. Daytime means a life of activity, a life of means and ends, subject trying to get hold of various objects, a life of wanting to experience things, a life of wants, a life of accomplishments. Nothing wrong with accomplishments, but here the accomplishment means it is just being, it's overkill, too much. So a life of all kinds of over accomplishments, competitiveness. In other words, a life that is wedded to doing is for the jnani a life that doesn't even exist at all, and which she or he does not even know about, is asleep to that life. And so tasyam jag, so that to that reality into which other beings are awake, tasyam, that is so sa nisha, that is the nisha pashyato munehe, for the seer. For the seer of what? The seer of the truth of the self. And what does the seer of the truth of the self see? The seer of the truth of the self sees the total invalidity of all activities. The frenetic rush of trying to accomplish ends and means is totally unseen by the seer. It's totally not. The seer is not awake to that. It does not understand what end is there to be accomplished, because the only end that is there to be accomplished is to know that there are no ends to accomplish. I am whole, I am free, I am limitless. That is what is there. That is the only thing that is to accomplish, and that accomplishment is within quotes. That accomplishment is an as though accomplishment, because it's already accomplished. Siddha vastu vishaya. It is siddha, not sadhya. It is not to be accomplished, it is to be understood. And once you understand that, then that sense of fulfillment which is there with you is surpasses the need for action. Because all action, every single action, is to seek fulfillment. Every single action is spurred by the desire for some fulfillment or another. Every single action without exception. There is the action sometimes want the motivation behind the action sometimes is a want for what kind of a thing is it? It's like tangible things. Like I want something badly, and I'm going to work to accomplish it. I want a degree, I want a job, I want marriage, I want children, and I'm going to put all my heart and mind and accomplish this. This is one way. That is how most of the people go about it. But here, the what is the motivation behind I want this? I want a sense of fulfillment. I want a sense of satisfaction centered on the self. I want a sense of contentment. That is what is behind all the action. Behind all the action is desire. Karma pravrittihi, and Adi Shankara says, karma karanam. So the cause of action is desire. Kamasyat pravartakatvat. Because it pushes you, it impels you, it goads you to do. Suppose I already had the satisfaction. Suppose I already felt totally content and fulfilled at all times. Then what is the need for action? There is no need for action. There is no need for frenetic activity. Because I have understood, and that is how one can be content all the time, through the understanding that one is already free and whole. This is exactly what is called quote unquote enlightenment, self-knowledge, whatever you want to say it, Atmajnanam. This is what it is. Because it's already accomplished. The self that you want to be is the self that you already are. There is no two ways about it. Why? Because you already know this in a way. I mean, just extending the metaphor for night, when you're sleeping, you're whole. You're not worried about anybody or anything. You're not worried about the credit card. You're not anxious about your children. You're not anxious about anything else in life, in sleep. There is no anxiety. In sleep, there is no desire. In sleep, there are no wants. In sleep, there are no disappointments. In sleep, there is no sorrow. And finally, in sleep, there is a sense of contentment, which is why you don't want to get up. That's exactly why you don't feel like getting up. Because in sleep, everything is okay. Everything is okay in sleep. And that okayness, you want that in the waking state also. This is the only want, is to stop wanting everything else. And here the Jnani has achieved this. And so the life of activity for him or her is like night, where for him nothing happens, doesn't see anything, and he or she is asleep to this kind of a life. This kind of a life has no relevance for him or her, just like the life of drug dealers and other robbers and all these people and their nefarious activities. to achieve equally nefarious and questionable ends has no meaning for you. Just like that, for the Jnani, this doesn't have any meaning at all, does not see what is happening. Yasyam jagrati bhutani sa nisha pashyato munehe. For the one who has understood the truth of the self, the life of activity symbolized by by the night for the jnani is daytime for all the other people. For them, it's valid. For this jnani, it is just cancelled out. That's why there is no reason to see it. And then that which is night for all beings, in that night, meaning what is the night? Ajnanam. The night of tamas, the night of ajnanam, the night of being asleep to the reality, in which all beings participate due to self-ignorance. The night of self-ignorance is, that in which people sleep. So that which is night for other beings, into that night, the jnani is awake, awakened to the truth of oneself. While the rest are sleeping the sleep of ignorance, the jnani is awakened to the truth of her or his own self and enjoying the quietude of night. But all the other beings are fast asleep. This is a very beautiful verse. In other words, even in English, we say that this is night and day, meaning it has nothing in common. That's exactly what must have, that idiom must have come from the Bhagavad Gita itself, I'm thinking. This is night and day, meaning this is, I don't even see what it, there's so much difference. This is as different as night and day. So the life of the jnani and the life of the ajnani are like night and day. With these words, let us enter a little bit into the bhashya, as much as we can do that today. He says, Ya nisha ratrihi sarva padarthanam avivekakari tamasvabhavatvat sarvesham bhutanam. So that which is night, and he defines night. What is night? Sarva padarthanam, all things. Pada, word, artha, meaning. So here we are made to be aware that the definition in Sanskrit for thing is actually a word and its meaning. So the whole world is a series of words and meanings, words and meaning. Table, word and meaning. Chair, word and meaning. House, word and meaning. Everything likewise is word and meaning, word and meaning, word and meaning, word and meaning, word and meaning. A word whose meaning you know, that comprises the entire world. So, ya nisha, ratrihi. So, what is ratri? He defines ratri. Sarva padarthanam, for all things, avivekakari. Avivekakari means you cannot discern them. Kari, feminine, because it goes with ratrihi, which is also feminine. Avivekakari, that which makes discernment close to impossible. That's why you go bump in the night. You just collide against this, then you turn over here and collide against another piece of furniture. And you kind of stumble your way to the bed. And so this is because you see, you have to understand in many cultures, you don't, the whole concept of bedside lamp is a luxury. You don't have that. Usually the light switch for the main light will be near the front door. And from the front door, you have to make your way to the bed without bumping into, by bumping into only one or two things, you hope to make it to the bed. That's how it is. Because as soon as you cut the light, the eyes are not adjusted to the dark, and then you don't see anything. And so the furniture, the room, the table, chairs, etc., everything the night makes for you, indiscriminate. So the night is avivekakari. It makes you have no discrimination about the situation of things, about the situation of your whole, even your body, in relation to those things. For a moment, you are stumbled. You're stumped and you stumble. And so, therefore, sarva padarthanam avivekakari. Why? Tamasvabhavatvat, because it is dark. It is dark here. So for whom? Sarvesham bhutanam, for all the people. Okay. And then he says, but then it says that the Sanyami is awake. One person is awake into this particular night. So let us see what he means. What Adi Shankara defines as as night. So now for the person of knowledge, kim tat here doesn't mean what next. Kim tat here means furthermore. So this is night. We have defined night. Night is that which makes discernment impossible, okay, due to the darkness. Now what is next? Next he says paramartha tattvam sthita prajnasya vishayah. Very beautiful bhashya, short sentences. Sthita prajnasya vishayah paramartha tattvam eva. What is the sthita prajna? Sthita prajna is the one who is knows their nature, enlightened person. So, what is the subject matter that the sthita prajna is used to and wants? What is the subject matter? Paramartha tattvam. Paramartha tattvam means only the reality, tattva, reality, paramartha, absolute reality. The sthita prajna is only concerned with Ishvara as the truth of oneself. So you see, that's already night and day. Okay. Here the night makes one have aviveka, and here for the sthita prajna, paramartha tattvam, the reality of oneself as whole, is the only subject matter that concerns them. And then he delves into the metaphor. Yatha naktancharanam ahaha eva sat anyesham nisha bhavati. Yatha, just like naktancharanam, for the nocturnal people, the kinds we just spoke about, the people who have nefarious notions. So for such people, yatha naktancharanam ahaha eva sat, naktancharanam ahaha eva sat tadvat, no, what is it? Anyesham nisha bhavati. So for the nightly people, for the nocturnal people who are active in the night, that night is day for them. Because what is day? Day is what is marked by activity. But these fellows are active at night. So for them, this is their day. But it is night for everybody else. Evam sat anyesham nisha bhavati. For other people, this is night. Tadvat, in the same manner, naktanchara sthaniyanam ajnanam sarvabhutanam nisha iva nisha paramartha tattvam agocharatvat. Agocharatvat atad buddhinam. Very beautiful. So, what he says is that just like for the nocturnal people, what is day is night for all the other beings. Similarly, that which is standing in for the naktancharas, naktanchara sthaniyanam, meaning that which stands for the nocturnal people. What is that which stands for the nocturnal people? Atad buddhinam. The last word. Atad buddhinam. Atad buddhinam means those who don't have tad buddhi. What is tad buddhi? Brahma buddhi. Those who are not interested in Brahman, those who are not interested in the truth of the self. Atat buddhinam. In fact, so the negation, the nanj pratyaya is viparitarthe. They are interested in everything else. It's the opposite meaning. The negation has the opposite meaning. They are interested in everything else but the self. Atat buddhinam. Who are they? Ajnanam. They are ignorant of the self. That's why they are not interested, because they don't know what to want. And who are they? Sarvabhutanam, all beings. Nisha iva nisha paramartha tattvam. So, this reality of the truth of oneself is like the night. Nisha eva nisha. They are not awakened to it. Why? Agocharatvat. It is agochara. It is not objectifiable. It is invisible to those who are not looking for it, whose minds are not directed towards it. Because you can only desire a thing that you know. And if you don't know that you don't know, then you can't desire to be free of Atma Ajnana, which is most people. That's why when there is even the slightest desire for this knowledge, one has to take it. One has to take it and run, the Shastra says. And so Atat Buddhina means Tat Buddhi is not there. Tat Buddhi means a commitment to study is not there. And that I'm missing something may be understood, but how to repair this situation is not understood. They are still in the stage of keeping on doing more and more and more, and in order to fulfill the discontentment. It's like a hole. It's like a big hole, which does not really, the more you do, it doesn't help, because the problem is not about doing. It's not for the lack of doing that there is suffering. It's for the lack of knowing that I'm not a doer. That is where the suffering is. And so atat buddhina तस्यां परमार्थतत्व लक्षणायां अज्ञाननिद्रया प्रबुद्धः जागर्ति संयमी संयमवान् जितेन्द्रियः योगी इत्यर्थः. This we'll see next week. ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते. ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः. हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः. हरिः ॐ. Thank you.